Sometimes, simply opening your eyes in the morning feels like an unbearable burden. It's not just physical fatigue, nor even a fleeting emotional exhaustion. It's something deeper, more ingrained. It's the weight of existence. Waking up each day with the feeling that nothing changes, that each day is a repetition of the last, an echo of fading moments leaving no trace behind. You get up, you breathe, you keep going, because that's how it's supposed to be. Because the world doesn't stop, and neither can you, even if every fiber of your being screams for rest. There's a rhythm to follow, a script to perform, an expectation to fulfill. But somewhere, in the folds of your mind, the question lingers. For what? For whom? And if one day you decided not to continue, what would really change? Jean-Paul Sartre spoke of nausea, that suffocating sensation that arises when one realizes the arbitrariness of existence. Nothing has inherent meaning, nothing comes with a preordained purpose. And that absolute freedom, instead of being liberating, sometimes becomes an unbearable weight. Because if everything is a choice, if every step depends solely on you, how do you find motivation when everything seems devoid of meaning? That nausea is not just a philosophical concept, it is a visceral experience, a feeling that grows in the void, in the absence of certainties. The fatigue of existing is different from common exhaustion. It cannot be fixed with rest, because it is not a problem of the body, but of the soul. It is the weariness of repetition, the despair of feeling that every effort leads to the same place, an endless cycle of obligations, responsibilities, soulless routines. It is looking to the future and finding nothing that excites you, nothing that makes your heart beat faster. And in that emptiness, in that absence of purpose, time becomes yet another burden, something you simply have to endure. It turns into a weight, dragged from day to day, until even time itself seems to stand still. Sometimes, you try to ignore it. You surround yourself with noise, distractions, mechanical tasks that fill the day but not the spirit. But in moments of silence, in lonely nights, the feeling returns. That faint voice whispering that maybe there is no way out, that perhaps life is nothing more than this, a succession of indistinct days passing without a clear purpose, that no matter how much you search for answers, all you find is an echo of your own questions, bouncing off the emptiness of your consciousness. Albert Camus said that the greatest philosophical problem was suicide. If life has no meaning, why continue? But his answer was not despair, it was rebellion. To accept the absurd, to embrace it, to find pleasure in the simple experience of being alive, even without a purpose. But that is a daily struggle, a constant battle against the inertia of exhaustion, against the temptation to surrender to monotony. It is choosing every day, without guarantees, without promises of reward, solely for the act of defying the void. But how long can that struggle be sustained? How much can a mind endure when carrying a weight that never lightens? There are days when you feel that exhaustion seeping into every corner of your being, that not even sleep gives you respite, that waking up is a burden rather than an opportunity, that the world continues its course without you truly participating, as if you were a shadow moving through the days without leaving a trace. And that hurts because, even if you don't say it out loud, you hope there is something more. Something that justifies the effort of continuing to breathe, something that makes this journey worthwhile. But when that something doesn't appear, the sense of weariness becomes unbearable. You wonder if others feel the same, or if you are the only one trapped in this sensation. The problem is not that life lacks meaning, it's that, sometimes, the weight of having to find it on your own becomes unbearable, because there are no universal answers, no purpose written in the stars. There are only moments, fleeting instants of connection, of beauty, of something that feels real, even if only for a second. But when those moments are scarce, when routine crushes them before they can bloom, existence becomes a burden too heavy to carry. And then, the question arises, is it worth continuing to search, or is it better to surrender to indifference and let oneself be carried away by the current of time? Perhaps that's why the fatigue of existing is not easily visible. It's a silent burden, a wound that doesn't bleed but never stops hurting. It camouflages itself in routine, hides within days that pass without joy or sorrow. It becomes that whisper that says nothing will change, that what you are now is what you will always be. And it's easy to believe it, easy to give in to that idea, because fighting against inertia requires an energy that sometimes you simply don't have, because sometimes the act of existing is a battle in itself. And then, what remains? Choice. The same one Sartre said condemns us but also defines us. The possibility of defying exhaustion, of finding meaning even in nothingness, of deciding that, even if everything seems empty, moving forward is an act of resistance. Because maybe, somewhere in the future, in an unexpected moment, something will make it all make sense, or maybe not, but the only way to know is to keep going. And perhaps, just perhaps, one day, the effort of existing will find its own reward.